With the permission of our principal, sir, I would like to start up this program, sir.
Yes, once again, good morning, everybody. Yes, Mr. Rajesh, you can start the session.
Good morning, everyone. It is indeed a wonderful day, and I'm honored and delighted to welcome our Honorable Chairman, sir, CEO, sir, HR ma'am, our respected principal from MITT, our principal from Madhustali Vidyapith, education officer, a respected administrator, MIPS, MV, MCKV, faculties, guest speakers, judges, respective parents, teachers, and my dear students. Welcome to our virtual inter-house English debate competition 2020. If we retrospect the last 6 months, it has been quite challenging in every aspects across the globe. This pandemic situation has surfaced and opened up many dimensions, providing an area of speculation. Affected section is the students community, who are beaming with excitement on one side, looking forward for the lockdown to get over. But mind you, dear students, it's a long way to avail the life we had experienced earlier. We can vouch that it is time for the technology, which has boosted the students community to a greater extent amid speculations and brainstorming. And today, we are here to debate on these issues. This is Rajesh Sahani, and I have with me my dear colleague, Ms. Neha Jain, who will enlighten you more and give a start to the much awaited English debate competition. Over to you, Neha ma'am.
Thank you, sir. A very good morning to one and all present here. And I'm pleased to welcome you all in this first ever inter-house online debate competition. And the resolution for category 1 before us today is social media is beneficial for students. And representing the proposition, we have Prisha Chatterjee from Shivalik House, Anu Kumari from Vindhya House, Kumara Khurshid from Nilgiri House, and Gyan Prabha from Aravali House. And representing the opposition, we have Rashmi Agarwal from Aravali House, Vidhi Dalmia from Nilgiri House, Pratiba Modi from Shivalik House, and Zara Khurshid from Vindhya House. On behalf of the House, I would like to express a sincere welcome to our eminent panel of judges for the category 1. Firstly, we have Sir Samgeet Sundar Mondal and Ma'am Ruby Kumari from the English department of Madhustali Vidyapith. And we have a very special judge with us today, Ma'am Nandita Mitra. Ma'am Nandita is a trained postgraduate teacher in English. Ma'am has taught in renowned ICSE and CBSE schools of Kolkata in the primary and middle sections. But for some medical reasons, she had to voluntarily retire from the school teaching. But she continued with teaching by engaging herself in coaching students in English and social studies. Ma'am, that's not all, and ma'am is also a trained classical dancer and Rabindrik Nritya, and had given wonderful performances in her school and college days, and had also choreographed her students in school functions. We feel honored to have you with us, ma'am, today. Thank you for joining us. And now we have the timekeepers. For the category 1, Sir Buddhadev Chakraborty, and the tabulation will be done by Ma'am Sana Farheen from the Mathematics Department of Madhustali Vidyapith. So before we proceed further, do allow me to give you a brief description on the rules and regulations of this competition. The category 1 is open for the students from classes 6 to 8. From each house, we have one speaker speaking for the motion and one speaker we have speaking against the motion. The following rules are to be observed by the participants of category 1. There will be no rebuttal round for category 1 participants. One house for the motion will deliver, followed by another house in against. All participants will get a total time of 4 minutes. After 3 minutes, a warning bell will ring, and after 1 minute, the final bell goes. And any participant exceeding the time limit of 4 minutes will be awarded negative marking. And the participants should avoid reading from previously prepared scripts. Without further ado, let us begin with the competition. Wishing all the participants best of luck. So, the house believes that social media is beneficial for students. Starting on, I would like to call upon our first speaker, Prisha Chatterjee from Shivalik House, to put a headstrong opinion in favor of the motion. Go ahead, Prisha.
Doing all the work while sitting at home. Isn't it exciting? Meeting the whole world from our home is just like a miracle. Good morning, everyone. I am Prisha Chatterjee of Standard 6, representing Shivalik House debater for the motion of the topic, social media is beneficial for students. Those my dear mates are opposing social media. To them, I want to ask, if social media is not beneficial, then please stop using WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube from tomorrow. Is it possible? I know that you may argue, but cannot avoid its beneficial points. It's 21st century, where Mars rover is sending pictures through social media, where robotics is in school syllabus in modern countries, where citizens are being called now netizens. So we will go forward or backward of the time? Definitely not backward. In this pandemic, social media is only the weapon to solve all sorts of communication, studies, health hazards, and connecting people throughout the world. Without it, we cannot imagine our life in hardest time. Everything have advantages and disadvantages, but social media is having maximum advantages and less disadvantages. It is an issue of some disease, an eye problem, but already precautions and tips and some apps are also provided for our safeguard from it. So I think that social media is totally perfect for students. Let's talk about its benefits. The first and biggest advantage of social media is best way of communication, where we can connect anyone, anytime and anywhere, regardless of the location and religion. Students in traditional classrooms may not get the personalized attention, which is not going to happen in online classes, because guided discussions and personal talk time with their professors is a hallmark of online classes. In classrooms, the students are only able to learn what their professors are teaching according to books. But in virtual classes, for a single word, they get endless results. It means a student can gain extra knowledge according to their wish. Social media also offers the student to join different classes where they can attend classes from national level trainers like Topper or YouTube channels like IVIS, etc. In earlier days, when a student got stuck in a question, he or she had to wait to meet the educators physically. But now, they can ask the educators personally in social media or they can also take help of study websites or apps like Brainly, etc. In social media, classes are flexible and low cost. Lastly, I want to say that social media is very beneficial and amazing platform for students. And in this pandemic, it is the only way to stay connected. Thank you so much. My regards.
What an excellent start, Prisha, I must say. But not to forget, every coin has two sides. So coming up is our next speaker to speak against the motion. It's Kashvi Agarwal from Aravali House. Here you go, Kashvi.
My heartfelt greetings to all the diplomats present here. This house believes that social media is beneficial for students, and I, Kashvi Agarwal, is here to express my views against the motion. Okay, tell me how many of us wake up in the morning at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. maybe and check their Instagram, WhatsApp, or Facebook notification? And now, how many of us wake up in the morning at 6 a.m. and go for a morning walk? A study published online in Computers and Human Behavior reveals that around 2 billion people suffers from obesity, diabetes, chronic constipation, and other ill health. That's because we prefer spending time on social media rather than working out or going for some outdoor activity. It is a well-adopted notion that a lot of people are in social media in some form or the other. The cheap smartphones and low internet prices has of course skyrocketed the presence of people in social media. It certainly has advantages, but there are few serious pitfalls that I would like to address here to support my stance. Firstly, social media is a poison with fake news and disrupting ideologies which can cause a negative influence on the students or youth. Social media is a powerful platform which can cause a negative influence and impact on the students that is used to spread fake news and disrupting ideologies. Hence, it is no surprise that it is used to spread fake news. In fact, 66.67% of the news on social media is either fake or inaccurate. Is there any accountability of how many people have suffered in various ways because of the fake news that is spread to social media? As there is no restriction to what a person can upload or post about someone, thus having no credibility check on the content. Secondly, social media has given rise to a new vice, that is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is a new vice that involves hateful text, embarrassing photos, personal information, which can cause victims to it has been shared without the consent of the concerned party. It can cause this can make life difficult for the victim to such an extent that it has even led them to commit suicide. We are also aware of these ongoing trend of mobile gaming apps like Blue Whale, PUBG, etc. that has actually taken lives of innocent youth who were unaware of its consequences. Thirdly, social media has led to the decline in our face-to-face communication and weakened our language skills. It has led to the decline in our social interaction skills and also the way we communicate. The use of acronyms, short forms, etc. has decreased our sentence forming structure and social interaction skills. Connectivity, we say, is the most important boon of social media. But is it really? How can you not interact with people living right behind you and claim to have 1100 friends on Facebook? And is it addicting? Oh yes, it is. It probably has the narcotic effect on the students or youth. It has the narcotic effect in the students or youth and distracting effect. A 5-minute break can easily turn into a 5-hour sheer indolence. Social media apps have paved the student for more online conversation and less personal concept, more emoticons and less personal emotions. Stalking and harassments are real major problem. Fake accounts are as easy as a boiling water to make. They can make this can make a whole situation a whole lot worrisome and accelerating cybercrime to the ratio of 15 to 20% year by year, which can have precedents as massive as the President of United States. How can you not interact with people living right behind you and claim to have 1100 friends on Facebook? What else can be spoken of the volume of the web of lies that social media can relay? Hence, I would like to conclude by saying the most cliched lines. Stay alert, stay safe, and limit your time on social media because it is not healthy. Thank you.
Okay, so that was a great attempt, Kashvi, I must say. Moving on to our next speaker.
That was indeed a powerful presentation from the two speakers. Next we have, let me welcome another excited speaker representing Vindhya House, Miss Annu Kumari. Over to you, Annu.
Respected judges and my dear teachers, a few days before I was solving a sum and after many failures, I solved some sites and within a few seconds, I got the solution and understood the concept very well. Indeed, it is very reliable and sourceful. A very good morning to one and all present here. This is Annu Kumari representing Vindhya House would like to take this opportunity to speak for the motion of the statement that is social media is beneficial for students. Social media has completely changed the way we live our lives. We are more connected than ever before. Social media websites like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat are quite popular with younger generations these days. Social media is not limited to communication anymore. It is a source of entertainment, advertising, promotions, creating awareness and performing many such functions. Here I am going to discuss some of the advantages of social media, especially for students. Students using web technology can share useful website links to each other and use anyone's shared file and information through the post. They can share their own personal information and can get engaged with others instantly. Use of social media made it easier and faster for the students to interact with teachers. Students within a few clicks can also share and transfer all the study-related matters and topics. Social media helps people and mostly students updated about all the current goings. It helps them grasp knowledge about the latest trends and technologies that are running in the market. It also helps people to be in touch with their friends and families while they're out for studies. They can collect abundant study materials from social media platforms. It helps them keep updated with the latest news updates, resulting they can easily get the updates about the job openings and vaccines. Nowadays, in this pandemic situation, why parents are urging to their children to take the help of social media and online classes for their studies? Because they also know that social media sites are very helpful and useful for the students in their studies. Students can also interact with professors online anywhere in the globe, watch online videos of classrooms, seek help, and hold discussions with more learned teachers and professors. Groups made on social media also helps in sharing of ideas for the project. Learning videos on YouTube channel has proven a great source of learning and receiving of new ideas. Apart from all the above advantages, social media networking sites are not just used for sharing of images and videos, but social media has played a vital role in promoting campus drive and creating awareness about education. Thank you.
That was Annu Kumari. To add more to it, social networking sites are not just for sharing images and videos, but also plays a vital role in promoting campus drive and creating awareness about education. Moving on to the next speaker, we have another eminent speaker coming up to speak against the motion, and she is Miss Vidhi Dalmia from Nilgiri House. Over to you, Vidhi.
Media and technology are not the agents to change. They are just tools. We, the connected people, are the agents. A warm good morning to one and all present here. I, Prisha from Nilgiri House, will be speaking against the motion on the topic, is social media good for students? Nowadays, this question, is social media good for students, is rising very much among the people. Some are saying yes, and some are saying no. And my answer to this question will also be because you all aren't aware of the bad effects on students. Yes, there are. There are many bad effects of social media on students. We all know about social media makes the students very lazy. In this new active era of social networking, students have become more lazy because they spend time on social media either by lying down or by sitting in bed. And in this, their physical activities are not done at all, and they are being lazy day by day. It gives wrong knowledge when used. As we all know that no secret is hidden from social media, due to which students can misuse it and gain the wrong knowledge which should not be gained by. It lacks emotional connection. An emoji can elicit a superficial feeling of connection, but face-to-face communication builds more meaningful bonds through body language, touch, facial expressions, etc. But this all an open loss in this digital world of social media. Social media diminishes understanding and thoughtfulness of the student. Due to social media, students have become so artificial that no creativeness is seen in them. Like, if they get any homework, they used to search in social media and copy it down, due to which no creativeness is seen. A child needs mental and physical development, which lacks in social media, but open air can fill up. The people, those who are in support, that social media is good, then I have a question for you all. That as we all know, cyberbullying and social games are being very popular these days. And students are also being cyberbullied by harsh, humiliating words, due to which they start to take drug and alcohol and even skips the school. And in extreme conditions, they attempt suicide also. So after knowing this all, will you say it good? Don't you think it's bad? It is taking the life of the students. Yes, it's bad and not good at all. Like my opponents are saying, it's also helps in our studies and also give us the knowledge. Then my answer to that question would be, there were also students in 1980 who are taking any knowledge. They were, but not by the social media, but by the help of their teachers and by reading books. So if they can, then why we can't? So let's disconnect from social media and learn from outside world. Not only this all, even studies have also proven that too much on social media can cause long psychological disease. UNICEF has also warned about the excessive use of social media. So at last, I would like to conclude by saying, social media is training us to compare our lives and not appreciating what's here. No wonder why everyone is always depressed. Thank you.
That was a befitting response to the previous speaker. I would agree that yes, everyone uses social media for many purposes. Various reasons might be there. And no doubt, like we have to keep in mind one thing that it has got its own toll to take, its own bad effects as well. Over to you, Neha ma'am.
Yes, so thank you. Now moving forward, I would now like to invite our next speaker, Humaira Khurshid from Nilgiri House, to outstand everyone in favor of the motion. So here you go, Humaira.
Good morning to one and all present here. This is Ms. Humara Kushit of Standard 6, representing Nilgiri House. Today I am in the favor of the statement that social media is beneficial for students. Social media usage increased by almost 1000% in just 8 years within the 18 to 24 age range. more than 98% of national students use social media. Because of today's connected nature's generation, social media can be used as means to share information at college campuses. This information can range from power outages to semester reminders. Social media also offers the ability for students to share information with like-minded peers, expanding their own knowledge and curiosity about the topics that interest them. Recent studies indicate anxiety among the students that they have been never frequent. Between 2009 and 2015, student visits to counseling centers increased by about 30%, even though enrollment had increased about 6%. However, social media can come to a student aid here too, by connecting to other students facing same graduate and undergraduate. Some websites and apps are also beneficial for students for learning and clearing their doubts, for example, Brainly, Quora, etc. Social media is a beautiful platform for students to express themselves. Many students are scared what will happen if I express myself. It helps students to express themselves and share their thoughts without fear. Some of the educational approaches and benefits of social media to improve the academic performance of students, for example, communication and collaboration, finding concert information online, parental involvement, improved literacy, communication, reading skills, and distance learning opportunities. Facebook. Facebook is one of the most popular social networking websites in the world. It helps people to connect with families and friends, upload videos and pictures, chat and form groups. Students in particular get more ideas and inputs very easily, a notch higher than what they would have got using a hard copies of books from the libraries, and is absolutely free. Together with Instagram, there are major social media giants in the world. Today, I'm going to end with a quote that don't use social media to impress people. Use social media to impact people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Myra, for presenting your logical views. Coming up next is Pratiba Modi from Shivalik House to express her thoughts against the motion. So go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. This is Pratiba Modi from Standard 6, representing Shivalik House as a debater against the motion of the topic social media is beneficial for school students. What my mate said for the motion, I am totally opposing her, and I want to ask her, are you not addicted in WhatsApp? Why do you chat and check your status frequently? Is not it wastage of time? If you say it is essential, then please tell me, is it more essential than the ailments of your health? WHO reports that more than 60% students throughout the world are suffering from any ailments. That is either migraine, eyesight problem, or attention deficiency. These are all the results of using social media. Are we all progressing or moving to the hell? Broadly, I want to say that social media is harmful to school students. School students are very young and their minds are not much developed. Hence, they cannot differentiate between good or bad. They can easily get influenced or distracted. It might also lead to biased, prejudiced views about people or issues. They hardly have any knowledge of it. Social media is susceptible to a lot of serious controversies, such as posting of unacceptable data, content, pictures, news, videos, etc. that mostly leads to conflicts. If someone is too much into social media, then that person is very much likely to be cut out from social life. Now it is trended through social media, public figures are being trolled. Even students are not safe from trolling. Suppose a school student is introvert or does not mix up well with their peers, then disciplinary action might be taken against them and further studies also might be geo-paradised. For example, if a student is introvert or does not mix up well with their peers, then that student can be trolled, thereby leading to emotional trauma. So, how can we say that social media is beneficial? Nowadays, it is well known that how students waste their golden time into social media, whereas they should be concentrating on their studies or learning some new skills. Getting too involved into social media can lead to addiction that inculcate bad habits. Students prefer to chat with friends for hours and hours that could have been used for studying, playing, or learning new skills. Getting too involved into can lead to addiction. Thank you.
What an headstrong opinion, Pratibha, I must say. Moving on to our next speaker, over to you, sir.
We have got a seventh speaker here, and she is from Aravali House. Over to you, Miss Gyan Prabha.
A very good morning, regarded adjudicators and individual excellencies. I, Gyan Prabha, is representing the Aravali House, and I am all in for the motion. That is, social media is beneficial for students. Social media and technology has now become an indispensable part of our lives. Since its inception, social media has taken the world by a storm, where the introduction of World Wide Web has made the world a global village. The advent of social media revolutionized the way people communicate in this global village. The young generation of today has taken to social media like a duck takes to water. As social media states, social media provides a platform to interact and convey our ideas through virtual communication channels like YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, etc. When we talk about social media, the first thing that flashes in our mind is Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, or any other websites like this. But rather, social media has a much broader spectrum and a wider meaning. Social media contains blogs and microblogs, social news networking sites like Reddit, content communities like YouTube, social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, etc., and collaboration projects like Wikipedia. Therefore, social media is not only a mere source of entertainment, but also a vital form of learning and information. Hence, it can be rightly called as a source of infotainment that we get from social media all together in a single platter in just a few clicks. You name it and it's got it. The power of social media is extremely enormous, and the internet along with the social media websites has given students and teachers way to invent their creativity. And the best example of this is the content communication channel like YouTube. YouTube has given us bloggers and whiners. YouTube can give so many opportunities to increase and enhance the knowledge of a study course. An individual can make their videos and upload it to YouTube so that many others can also learn from it. By the observed uses of YouTube video views, the entire world is turning into a classroom where some people are teachers and the rest are students. Social platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, WhatsApp, etc. are being used by almost everyone. These social channels are all about collaborating, networking, sharing, and generating knowledge. Social networks are empowering students and educational institutions with opportunities to improve teaching and learning process. SlideShare, Quora, ResearchGate, etc. are helping students immensely by providing online tutorials. These platforms offer valuable resource materials for enriching knowledge base. Teachers are using Twitter, WhatsApp handles to offer extended support to students, thereby enhancing the scope of learning beyond the classroom. So, therefore, social media helps both the teachers and the students to remain connected off campus. In this context, it is imperative to mention the power of social media in these unprecedented times, where the coronavirus pandemic has hit the academic world like a huge tsunami, destroying the basic structure of classroom teaching, thus reducing it to tatters. It is the social media that has proved to be a savior for all the schools and the colleges. The transition to online learning was the only alternative available to the education institution. The platforms like Zoom, WhatsApp, Google Classroom are the tools to ensure that the learning should not stop. The social media has become the gateway to acquiring knowledge with social distancing norms in force. When we are all cooped up in our house, it is the social media that has kept us all connected. Now we feel only physically distant and not socially, which is the need of the hour. The students could get connected to the outer world. They could meet their friends, teachers, and peers and the outer world only through the eyes of their laptops or smartphones. Benefits of social media are numerous. There are just a few which I mentioned to begin with. I would like to conclude by quoting Mbiju Martin. As the children are taught how to ride a bike, they also need to be taught how to navigate social media and make the right moves. That will help them. Just like a knife which is used in every household, the same knife can be used as a lethal weapon to kill. It is we who are using it and having it in our mind and perception of using it. It takes indiscipline to let social media distract you, and it takes discipline not to let social media distract you. Thank you.
Well spoken, Gyan Prabha. There is no doubt that social media has become the medium of acquiring knowledge and necessary information. The internet indeed has provided a platform for global exposure as well. Moving on to the next speaker, we have from Vindhya House. She's going to speak against the motion, Miss Zara Khurshid. Over to you, Zara.
Respected judges and dear teachers, I wish to quote a thought. In a world of algorithms, hashtags and followers, know the true importance of human connection. Yes, I said the true importance of human connection. A very good morning to one and all present here. This is Zara Khurshid representing Vindhya House. Strongly disagree that social media is beneficial for students. Social media reduces the focus on learning of their students. Mostly, the students are busy using social media for time wasting and don't focus on their targets and achievements in learning. As students always need motivation and concentration in their studies, social media distracts them from study and learning. It breaks their motivation and concentration in studies. Students cannot even imagine a day without posting on social media or chatting with friends using social platforms. And research shows that students spend 12 hours maximum in using social media. By my experience and research, social media drop the grades and other academic performances of the students. They don't pay attention to the class lectures, and by this, they miss a lot of important information for the study and learning. In using social media platforms, students use the shortest form of words. They get addicted to the language they use in social media. This affects the students' ability of effective writing. Social media is also one of the biggest platforms which spread fake news. They see the post on social media and forward it to their friends without the confirmation if the news is real or fake. One of the main reasons social media is bad for students is an addiction. Addiction is arising in students by the excessive use of social media. Besides, they completely depend on social media and think that without social media, there is nothing in their life. This is the worst thing about social media for students. Through the excessive use of social media, students lose motivation and creativity. They always want to use social media and keep themselves in the social media virtual world and don't want to do something for achieving their goal. That also affects their creativity a lot. Students don't search and study books for finding the relevant information, as they can easily find them in social media, which reduces the research capabilities of the students. Social media also damage the health of the students. They may experience negative side effects such as eye strain or lack of sleep. The addictive students use social media and want to stay online on the social accounts and don't want to sleep, which causes a lot of disorders and problem in their health. The negative effects of social media outweigh the positive. In conclusion, effect social media is and will continue to be harmful. The power it has over students is dangerous and often goes unnoticed. Thank you.
I will agree to you, Zara, on this, that various factors are there which really hampers the stability of the student's mindset. And the only way to come out of this is that there should be a limit to it. I feel very privileged, and I would like to take this moment to welcome and invite one of the eminent speaker. He is a guest speaker. He appears to be a young chap, but he is here amidst us, like to present his own views on the statement social media is beneficial for the students. He loves reading fantasy and mystery books, composes his own poems, addicted to Harry Potter series from his early childhood, has developed fondness in literary activities, and he likes to comment on the YouTube. He is none other than Master Tatsat Banerjee from Harvard House High School, Alipur, Kolkata. I would like to welcome Master Tatsat Banerjee. Over to you, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Totshot Banerjee. And firstly, thank you to everyone for having me here. It is truly an honor to be here among such wonderful faculty and speakers. I could not be more grateful to all you. So, moving on to the topic of this round, that being social media is beneficial for students. Even though I would like to speak against the given motion, I do believe that there are certain positive aspects to it, which I shall be mentioning in bits as I go through my points. Social media is undoubtedly a really important part of our life. It helps to connect the world together and helps a person know what is happening around the globe. In a sense, social media has made the world a lot smaller place for the better. However, while this quote-unquote better applies to most adults, it doesn't tend to fare well with children. Even though they can use it for various purposes, like looking up misunderstood concepts or for entertaining purposes, some students may find themselves entwined among numbers of different problems caused by social media, even probably outnumbering those solved by the same. Social media is a really important site for people who cannot communicate their feelings to their peers. And here they can easily post whatever is in their mind to get rid of the tension there is. However, there is an opposite side to this coin as well, since some students can get so introverted that they can no longer communicate whatever is in their mind to some people who can even help them cope with it. It makes them introverted, and this is especially true for younger students, since their personalities are in the peak of development at this stage, causing such tendencies to get permanently implanted into their nature, which is absolutely disastrously harmful. Often I tend to notice a lot of parents, including my own, complain about how much time their children spend in browsing social media, which is a reasonable complaint. This can lead to increase in procrastination and introversy while they could be doing something more productive. However, children are not entirely to blame, since it is a psychological tendency that they tend to get attracted towards things that seem interesting to them. And considering the increasing number of new content on social media, this is not a new sight to see. However, this is extremely harmful since they could be spending their time doing something more productive while all they do is browse through pages on social media, which can lead to no use. However, there is a positive impact to this since some students can gain positive outlooks from this, like writing poems, singing, etc. Thus, I think with these points I've proven that social media, even after being a positively made site, can lead to disastrous effects on account of unplanning and wrong execution. Thank you.
So yeah, that's a Banerjee from Harvard High School, Alipur, Kolkata. Thank you so much. We are really fortunate to hear from your end, and we'll be expecting more of you in the second category. So we are going to move on to category 2. And before we move on to category 2, let me take this opportunity to list out all the participants
Mr. Rajesh, your voice got stuck.
For the motion and against all the participants falling under for the motion. From Aravali House, we have got Master Sahil Murmu of Standard 11. From Nilgiri House, we have got Miss Trina Do of Standard 9. From Shivalik House, we have Miss Anshika Kumari from Standard 11. From Vindhya House, we have got Miss Yashvi Agarwal of Standard 9. This four are meet for the motion. Against the motion, we have got from Aravali House, Miss Fariya Majid of Standard 12. From Nilgiri House, we have got Master Neel Dutta of Standard 9. From Shivalik House, we have got Miss Adiba Samreen of Standard 11. From Vindhya House, we have got Miss Mahima Marandi of Standard 10. And to judge these 8 participants, we have got eminent judges. 3 judges we have got, and they are Mr. Aubrey Thompson, our respected administrator MV, Miss Vinita Bose, English Department, Miss Sanjida Khatun, English Department. And we have got timekeeper, Mr. Ranjit Sarkar from Physics Department, and we have got tabulator, Mr. Subhobota Ghosh, Sports Department. So all set. Just to go through a little bit about the rules and regulations. Rules and regulations for category 2. 2 participants we have selected from class 9 to 12. And the topic which they are going to speak on is online schooling is better than traditional schooling. 2 rebuttal rounds will be there in this category. After every speaker finishes his or her debate, 2 minutes will be allotted for rebuttal. This we have made some improvisation. The rebuttal round will be there after the end of the 8th speaker. In case no question is asked within 10 questions for the rebuttal, the moderator will remind the competitors that if no question is asked within the next 10 seconds, then the judges will allot points for the rebuttal to the speaker. Now, general guidelines we have got here. All participants will get a total of 4 minutes to speak. After 3 minutes, a warning bell will ring, and after 1 minute, the final bell will be rung. Any participants exceeding the time limit of 4 minutes will be awarded negative points. Participants should avoid reading from a previously prepared script, any paper or aid. Unparliamentary language should not be used. No personal comments or observations should be made against any religion, caste, community, political party, or individual. The letter should be limited to the topic only. So that was the rules and regulation for category 2. So let's start with category 2. Online schooling is better than traditional schooling. Let's debate. May I invite the first speaker to speak for the motion, and she is from Nilgiri House, Miss Trina Do. Miss Trina Do. Please unmute yourself in Canada. We have got the first speaker to speak for the motion, Miss Trinado from Nilgiri House.
Trina, we can't hear you.
Unmute yourself, Rina.
You can present later on. You just take for a while. I would like to invite the next speaker, and she is Miss Fariya Majid from Aravali House.
My heartfelt greetings to all the diplomats present here. The burning motion before the House states online schooling is better than traditional schooling. And I, Fariya, is genuinely pleased to introduce the opposition model. Well, George Soros said, technology cannot replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers can be transformational. A traditional classroom is where a teacher stands between the students and regulates the flow of information and knowledge. A traditional classroom involves a standard curriculum delivered by a teacher in person. The main motive of traditional education is to pass on the values, morals, skills, and the social practice to the next generation, which is necessary for their survival. You know, a great philosopher, Benjamin Franklin, said, tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn. So, education is not limited to the syllabus only. It also includes discipline, manners, morals, and interaction with each other. And these traits are very difficult to be taught in the virtual platforms. Traditional classroom allows the teachers and students to know each other. Teachers can evaluate the strength and weakness of the student, act as a mentor, and guide them in their career possibilities. This system helps the younger generation socialize into the norms and expectations of their parents by learning the languages, skills, and values needed to become the productive member of the society. The exams and competitions organized by the schools inculcate discipline and improve their mental alertness. I know in this recent times, most of the institutions have switched to online class, but not everyone can access online education. Even there are many more schools and colleges who have not yet started the online classes. In remote areas, many people did not own Android phones and gadgets, which is a very harsh reality of our society. Also, there are some who have these gadgets, but they are unable to pay the price of data packs. Sometimes the signal is lost and the class is missed. It is very difficult both for the teachers and students to sit in front of the mobile phones and laptops whole day to conduct the online classes. Maybe virtual class is useful, but it is not successful. I know it is the need of the hour to conduct the online class as the situation calls for it. But in my opinion, traditional classroom will always be preferred over virtual classes. Online class is inherited from traditional class, so online learning by no means can be a replacement for traditional classes. Thank you.
Well presented, Fariya Majid. That is another story and understandable. It is clear that the decision remains on the student side to choose whether online or traditional class. I would like to check on to Trina though once again. Will you please unmute yourself and check out? If it is okay, then you can continue. Trina though, can you speak?
Can you hear me?
Slightly disturbance is there in your network. We would give you time a little bit later on. I would like to request Neha ma'am to call up your name later on. Neha ma'am, over to you.
Okay, so now hearing forwards, I would like to call upon Yashvi Agarwal from Vindhya House to express her outlook in favor of the motion. Go ahead, Yashvi.
Talking about our school, Madhustali Vidyapeeth, during this pandemic situation has done a tremendous job by optioning for online schooling. Online schooling has entirely benefited us a lot in our studies. If online classes would not have taken place, then we would have not been able to learn and complete our syllabus. And most importantly, this year would be wasted. I am so grateful to online learning. Good morning, everyone. I thank for this golden opportunity to speak in favor of the statement that online learning is much better than traditional learning. So, as we all know that educational institutes have been practicing traditional teaching methods since ages. Traditional style of teaching is not considered very effective these days. A popular alternative to traditional teaching is online education or e-learning. The online education model is basically trying to overcome the disadvantages of the traditional education system while also providing additional benefits. Online education, on the other hand, encourages participation in classroom activities and peer-to-peer collaboration. Here are few ways how online education impacts traditional education. Students can learn at their own pace. Online education addresses this issue by offering additional information and explanation via ebooks and other forms of online resources. Online education helps students in becoming active learners rather than passive learners while taking full responsibility for their own studies. Reduces dependence on teachers. When students have an online learning option available to them with an easy access to internet, students can browse through thousands of online learning content. Online learning thus reduces dependence on teachers for notes and explanations. Cost-effective learning material. If you compare the cost factor, you would find that online education is way more affordable for students than traditional education. This is because of the difference in the creation of online resources, materials, and printed textbooks, or more social interaction and collaboration. Online learning model allows interaction by providing a platform for discussion. Students can post doubts and queries on the online platform, starting a discussion thread with teachers and other students. Easy to assess and give feedback. There's too much paperwork involved in the traditional education approach. Online assignments are comparatively easy to assess. Students submit their tests or assignments online, and teachers can view the answers and evaluate them anytime and anywhere. So, online education makes life easy for students as well as teachers. Encourages students to talk rather than listen in classroom. This approach helps in creating an interactive classroom where students learn by solving problems in classes with their peers and teachers around them. This makes for a more effective learning technique. Students can revisit the classes that were missed. Students sometimes tend to miss out on a few lectures either because they are unwell or they find it too dull and boring to attend. But with the help of online courses, students can go through the courseware at their convenient time or when they feel they are in an attentive state. Online education thus ensures that students never miss any topics covered in the classroom, providing a safe and sound platform for all to get modules in various aspects of online education and fields. Thank you.
That was well contended, Yashvi, I must say. And now I would call upon our next speaker, Adiba Sambreen from Shivalik House, to come up with her opinion against the motion. So here you go, Adiba.
Traditional classes, continuous interaction between the teachers and the student, as it helps teacher and student to know each other in a better manner. These helps teacher to know the student and to evaluate their strength and weakness. Yes, with this view, I, Adiba of Stand 11 from Shivalik House, is going to share my views why online learning is not better than traditional learning. There are reasons to believe that online courses are not merely as beneficial as traditional style classroom learning are. Online courses usually require no face-to-face interaction between the teachers and the student, as student has to learn alone and the concept cannot be understood without the help of the instructor. When students interact with their classmates and teachers, they gain confidence in their ability to speak and to interact with each other. It's gained them the confidence how to carry themselves in the professional manner. Because online learning can't do this, its value to the student is significantly lower. One problem of online learning is that all often it motivates us to get a degree, not to learn. Having class discussion with multiple professors who all have unique personalities motivate us to develop our opinions and to voice our opinions. If a student is scared to voice his or her opinions, classroom is a place where he can practice overcoming this fear. Traditional classes also encourages us to make a smarter choice. There is some as the time goes on and the society evolves. Education is one of them. While there is an argument that online learning allows people to learn in their own space, well, it is not as valuable as the education obtained from traditional style classroom learning. Keep in mind, only true teachers and students are good at what they do if the student is not willing to learn. If not, then regardless of the method, nothing will be learned. At last, I want to say that learning is a creation, not a consumption. Knowledge is not something a learner should absorb, but something a learner should create. Thank you.
Thank you, Adiba, for presenting your logical views. Now we move on to our next speaker. Over to you, sir.
Moving ahead, in the category 2, we have got a fifth speaker to speak for the motion, and he is none other than from Aravali House, Master Sahil Murmu. Over to you, Sahil.
A heartfelt greeting, educators and Indian excellencies. Today, I, Sahil Murmu from Aravali, to walk us all through the numerous ways in which online schooling is better than traditional schooling. Today, our human civilization have not reached type 1 civilization. The not being a part of the civilization have been very futuristic. The things from ordering and studies have been going through internet devices. We are living in future, modern times with ideologies and facts. We are living in a pandemic and there is the outbreak of coronavirus. We won't be able to continue our studies in traditional way because we have to practice social distancing. And in order to solution, there is online schooling, which is better, flexible, and when also create our own schedule and do not interfere anyone's business. So, institute have been following the traditional school from decades ago. What happens in traditional schooling is that a teacher is there and there are 40-50 students and don't know if 40 to 50 students are getting one-to-one attention. This is a huge fault in traditional schooling. So what is online schooling? Online schooling is known as e-learning that takes place through internet devices. It's very much beneficial than traditional. It comes with very much advantage. We can accommodate over 100,000 people by a large meeting schooling, which is much impossible in traditional schooling. Second, the students can learn at the because there are some students who are very much slow learners and with the pace and have to learn very gradually to know about the logicist. Thirdly, the students can now spend little to no time in traveling. Some students whose homes are very much far away from, in order to travel, they have to spend a lot of time and also a lot of fossil fuel. Parents can monitor what they are doing, what they are studying, what the students are in. They can know what they are doing. In traditional school, the parents have no idea are studying and in attending the school or not. Now students attend the online schooling from any part of the world, which is made possible through online schooling. There are many disadvantages of traditional schooling. Firstly, the cost of traditional schooling is very much high, and the online schooling is 80 times less costlier than the traditional schooling. And also, traditional schooling, they have traveled a lot of time. Second, the shy students are having trouble approaching with some questions. Thirdly, the attendance is irregular and they have to buy some compulsory textbooks. Also, one of the great factor of is safe learning environment. In traditional motor schools, the students are very peer pressure in the class, which often happens there, and they're very. But what happens in online schooling is that students are remained in a single room and they have nothing to distract them. They're fully focused on their studies, which is make the online schooling a better option than traditional schooling. In this context, I would like to conclude online schooling is better than traditional schooling. Thank you.
Well said, Sahil Murmu. Yes, I would agree that transition from traditional schooling to online schooling has already taken place and it is here to stay for long unless corona situation leaves us. Moving on to the next speaker, we have got from yeah, we have got from Nilgiri House, Master Neel Dutta. Over to you, Neel.
Education is most you can use to change the world. A warm and pleasant morning to all of you present here, respected principal sir, panel of judges, teachers, and my fellow classmates. I am Neel Dutta of Nilgiri House, present before you to share my opinion against the motion on the topic online schooling is better than traditional schooling. Online schooling is less effective than traditional schooling. I say this because, as you can see, in this current situation of this global pandemic, we are all dependent on this online mode of education, and we can clearly see its consequences. We can see that students have become more ruder and their concentration levels have decreased. Parents report that their children have become addicted to the internet, mobile phones, and the laptops. Teachers report that students have become disrespectful and they cannot concentrate properly in their studies. Students are misusing their mobile phones for the online classes. Instead of joining the classes, the students are scrolling pages on social media, chatting with their friends, or playing online games. In the online test, students can easily cheat. Instead of going through the text, learning nothing. Whereas, if we see our traditional mode of teaching, the student has to go thoroughly through the text because there is very little or no chance of cheating at all. In the online classes, when the teacher is giving some important notes, instead of copying down the notes, students often take screenshot or recorded session. And these screenshot and recorded sessions often end up being the memory of the mobile phone or the laptop, not the memory of the students. Students just don't bother to copy these notes in their notebook, and as a result, some important knowledge is being missed by them. Now, let me describe all the points one by one. Lack of proper equipment. As in India, only 34 crore Indians own a proper smartphone, which accounts for only the 26% of the total population. And if I say for proper PC or a computer, which is considered the best equipment for online education, the number is even less. It was reported that in India, out of every 100 people, only 3 own a proper PC or a computer. So this shows us the big picture that a majority of us don't have proper equipment. So how we can access the online education? If I say for proper internet connection, majority of us don't have proper internet connection. And if they do have, the quality is too poor. Lack of quality assurance and accreditation in online education. If the e-learning is to be considered as authentic and effective as traditional schooling, then it should be ensured that all online education platforms are accredited and quality assured. But unfortunately, at the current point of time, there are a vast number of online education platforms which are still unaccredited. It's quality checked by no one other than the instructor themselves. As such, poor quality assurance and lack of accreditance providers continue to weaken the legitimacy of online education. Health issues due to online learning. Due to this online mode of learning, the on-screen time of students have increased, and this is causing some certain physical health issues, including muscle and joint injuries, increased mortality rate due to excessive sitting, eye strain, and its associated symptoms. So at last, I want to conclude by saying that traditional schooling has been there for thousands of years, and I don't recommend shutting down schools and colleges and conducting only online courses. Traditional schooling has its own benefits, including face-to-face interaction, developing interpersonal skills, and group studying, which are very important for the overall development of a student. Thank you.
That was Neel Dutta from Nilgiri House. It was a befitting response owing to the remote areas financial status. Yes, I believe that it comes in with a big question mark to avail online schooling possible to many students. Would like to take another chance with Miss Trina Doe. If she is around here, then I would like to call upon her from Nilgiri House. Trina Doe?
Hello.
Yes, Trina Doe, we can hear you.
Education is very necessary for the betterment of our future. A mesmerizing morning to all of you present here, respected principals, teachers, participants, and all my dear friends. I, Trina of Nilgiri House, present here to speak up for the motion on the topic online schooling is better than traditional schooling. Before moving to why I am in favor of online education over traditional education, let's see what education is, which will help us get an insight to my subject. Education is basically the process of facilitating learning or acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, beliefs, and all habits. We all know what is daily routine of students these days. Wake up, get ready for school, travel, reach school, sit in the classroom, travel again, reach home, then tuition, and so on. From this scenario, one thing is clear that most of our time is wasted on traveling. It also completely drains energy. Thus, we are left with only bookish knowledge as there is no much time for us for giving attention to other things. We even don't know basic skills which can be helpful during emergencies. We know nothing about the farming, nor about the herbs also. We know nothing, the simple we know nothing about the simple practices necessary for to keep the body and mind healthy. Modern technology has infiltrated the education sector, and as a result, many students now prefer taking online classes as opposed to attending the traditional regular classes. The online model is basically trying to overcome the disadvantages of the traditional education system while also providing additional benefits. Spending huge amounts of money on school infrastructures, education through e-learning does not need any physical setup and is very low in cost as well. Various research reports show e-learning saves about 50% to 70% on training. This eliminated travel if the students want to attend Harvard Business lectures but lives half away across the country, the traveling puts them in the room. Secondly, the impact on environment, as e-learning is a paperless way of learning, it protects the environment in a huge way. As per studies done on e-learning courses, it has been found that they consume around 90% to 60% less power and generate 85% less carbon emissions. Another point is that if there is no infrastructure or buildings for the school, there is no research needed. Thank you.
That was Trina though. Despite her net issues, she has come up very strongly to present her views. Yes, I believe that like the infiltration and getting along with the information and technology. Yes, I agree that like many of the schools like across the globe, they have adopted this method to spread out the educational system presently available in India and across the world. I'd like to give the time to Neha, ma'am, please.
Yes, so moving ahead, I would like to invite our next speaker, Anshika Hembrom from Shivalik House, to outstand everyone in favor of the motion. Over to you, Anshika.
Good morning. Although traditional breaks and mortar schools, online schools offer parents the ability to control their children's learning environment. With this view, I, Anshika of 11 Science from Shivalik House, is going to express my opinion that why online classes is better than traditional classes. First of all, what is an online classes? And online classes is a course which is conducted over the internet. And by experiencing these classes, I don't think there is any demerits of online classes, because as we know this pandemic situation of COVID-19, we cannot step out of our house, and the only best solution which comes for proceeding our studies is online classes. And this mode of education is available for every student, whether he or she is a school or a college student, or they may be preparing for medical and engineering, etc. There are lots of benefits of online classes. First, we can attend our classes by staying at home. There is very less friend distraction, which is generally faced in traditional classes. There is more comfortable environment that students can ask question orally or by texting it in a group. Student in a traditional classes doesn't get personalized attention, whereas in online classes, teacher has to clarify every student's doubts. Globally, about 1.2 billions of students are out of the classroom, which turns the dramatical change in our education system. Before the arrival of COVID-19, students were enjoying their classes by attending schools and colleges, but now it is not possible. Well, we cannot stop learning because education is a passport to the future and the course of action which turns mirror into the window. In response to the significant demand, many online platforms are been offering a free access to their service, including Byju's, a Bangalore-based edutech technology and online tutoring firm, which is now world's most highly valued edutech company. Even nowadays, we are stepping into the world of internet, where we can see that the job interviews are also been going on, and the online classes here play a role of personality development. This mode of interview where generally happens in foreign country, but now here in India, it is also been introduced. So what I have observed, that time can be saved and students can also be focused in other productive activities. Even it is observed that students attend their classes only in a proper guidance of their parents, in which they can observe that whether their words are learning properly or not. So according to my view, during this pandemic situation, online classes is playing a vital role in every student's life by connecting and being updating us with our studies. So it is clear that pandemic has utterly disrupted our studies, and now because of this online classes, we are able to continue our educations. Thank you.
Well, that was a really well expressed remark, Anshika, I must say. And now, hearing forward, I would like to call upon our last speaker, Mahima Marandi from Vindhya House, to express her outlook against the motion. Here you go, Mahima.
When you walk with the Guru, you walk in the light of existence, away from the darkness of illusions. You leave behind all the problems of life and move towards the peak experiences of life. Good morning, everyone. Today, I, Mahima Marandi, representing Vindhya House, stand before you to strongly oppose the given statement that online classes are better than traditional classes. A traditional classroom is a place where teacher regulates and moderates flow of information and knowledge physically. Traditional education does have advantages in the eyes of many. Regular attendance promotes punctuality, helps students interact with each other, be better disciplined, and follow a regular schedule. Most traditional schools have countless activities from athletics to academic clubs to hobby clubs and many more, encouraging students for group works or to discuss concepts with their peers. It also inculcates leadership qualities in them and improves their physical fitness as well as mental alertness. It's a boon for one more reason, that there is a continuous interaction between teachers and students. Also, there are certain questions and psychological problems which are well addressed by the teachers in a traditional learning community. And some classes cannot be just taught online. Science classes are a great example as labs are often necessary to understand the material. This is not possible to do in most homes, and it makes science an extremely difficult subject to comprehend through a screen. In addition, morals and values, which are the very essence of education of all kind, can be inculcated through this type of learning. It is because students come across sets of values and ethics which are being portrayed by the teacher in their behavior. Talking about online classes, the scenario is completely different. It's a curse rather than a boon, as it has numerous problems. Let's just look some of these. First, lack of social interaction. The interaction with peers and teachers is greatly reduced in an online learning community. Online classes can often lack the essence of communication and lead to the feeling of isolation. Second, lack of interpersonal skill development and motivation. Online class often promotes us to get a degree and not to learn, whereas having debates and class discussions motivates the students to develop and voice their opinions, for which classroom is the only best place, as teacher may ask them to give presentation and speeches with different viewpoints. Third, lack of memory and skill development. Students in an online learning community need not to worry about professors catching them cheating. They have the ability to use a book and Google up answers quickly. This does not require the students to learn and memorize the materials in a way traditional learning does. In addition, network fluctuations are likely to occur. It makes it very difficult if a person needs to access the class at that moment. At last, as I'm bound by time, I would like to conclude that traditional learning is the only best method for the students to be taught with. Thank you.
Okay, that was well contended, Mahima. With this, we come to the end of the first round of category 2. Moving on to our next segment, that is the rebuttal round. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Neha, ma'am. And now, I hope, I guess that all the 8 participants, they have noted exactly what their opponents they were presenting. Rebuttal round 1. Online schooling is better than traditional schooling. And I'd like to repeat once again that you are going to get 2 minutes to respond to the question imposed on you. If you are ready, then we have not given any kind of sequence priorly to this debate competition. So we will be calling out your name one by one, and we will be checking the name of the one who is going to receive question. So please pay attention. Rebuttal round 1. May I call upon Miss Mahima Marandi from Vindhya House to put out question to Master Sahil Murmu from Aravali House.
I wish to ask my worthy opponent that what about the students, those who are being mentally and physically retarded due to sitting in front of the mobile phones and laptops for so many hours?
You can answer to that, Master Sahil Murmu. You've got 2 minutes to answer.
Can you please once again repeat question?
I wish to ask my worthy opponent that what about the students, those who are being mentally and physically retarded because of sitting in front of the phones and laptops for so many hours?
You've got 10 seconds to respond.
I would like to emphasize the fact, disagree with your statement. You talk about the students who are prolonged and adverse health effects while sitting in front of the phone studying in on-way teaching. So I think The online is going to have a better learning outcome than traditional schooling. The students can in their own pace, which is in online schooling, the comfort of their home. Save so much time in communicating, hence they are energetic and fresh. Take the online classes in a more receptive way. Students are now more focused on their studies because as they're getting less distracted by the peer classroom. You talked about the health of the students. So we can reduce the adverse effect of that because we have an application and tools available on the internet such as blue light filter, which improve the viewing of the screen and make it more comfortable so that they have less strain in the eyes and the students are continuously sitting. We can also reduce the each of the classes and have gap between so the time to rest and be available and to take up the online classes. Thank you.
That was Sahil Murmu. Thank you so much. And next, I would like to call upon Ms. Adiba Samreen from Shivalik House to caution Ms. Trina Do from Nilgiri House. Ms. Adiba Samreen. Yes.
I want to ask you that online learning lack the student learning development. Most of the students don't used to learn in their home. So what about your opinion in that?
Trina Do, you can answer to that.
Can you please repeat the question?
Most of the students don't used to learn in their home. As it lacks the student learning development. What is your opinion in this?
In my opinion, I think that it is depend on students that they should study in their home also, and
You can continue. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, Trina Do, we can hear you.
Yeah, as I was saying that it is on depend on students that they should study in their home also, and the parents they are also sitting in front of the students when there is online classes, and they can see that what teacher is studying the students, and they can also learn many things. So by that the parents also encourage students to learn things, and due to that the students also used to have to study in their home.
Okay. Are you done with that, Trina Do?
Yes,
She's having network issues. Like, I would like to request Neha ma'am to proceed with the
Yes, sir. I would like to now invite Neel Dutta from Nilgiri House to fire up his question to Yashvi Agarwal of Vindhya House. Here you go. Yes, Neel Dutta.
My question
Are
to
you
my
ready with your question?
Yes, yes, ma'am. As Vindhya House stated earlier, that in online education, peer-to-peer interaction is there. But can I ask how students are interacting with their peers? Because they are either are either getting taught by their teacher, even if they are not interacting with their peers. So how peer-to-peer interaction is there?
Sorry, Neel, I am not able to understand. Please repeat your question once again.
As you have stated that in online education, peer-to-peer interaction is being done. But can I ask how peer-to-peer interaction is being done?
Hmm. Hmm. Students can interact now, because in online classes there students can able to interact with each and everybody. They can easily, they can talk 24 into 7. They are interacted with their teachers and with their classmates, and they have a strong interaction with each other. They can uh, um, um, they are able to interact with each and everybody. And if in traditional classroom there's only limited time, that only in that time only they can ask their teachers about their queries or doubts. But in online learning they can ask anytime and anywhere, whether are in their home or they are outside the home, but they can interact with their teachers or their classmates.
Yes. So are you done, Yashvi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Are you done, Yashvi? Yes. Okay. So Neel, Datta, I hope you're satisfied with Yashvi's answer. Now moving on with our next. Let me invite Fariya Majid from Aravali House to give some panic through her question to Anshika Hembrom of Shivalik House. Yes, Fariya, shoot.
Yes, I wish to ask my friend Anshika, as she's mentioned in her speech that she don't think that there is any demerit of online class. So if online class is as beneficial, then why the teachers and principals, they are so desperate to reopen the school? And as we are going forward with the online class, then why the council have reduced the syllabus? As the studies are going so well on online class, according to you, then why they are reducing the syllabus, and why the principals and teachers, they are so desperate to reopen the schools?
Please, please repeat the questions, please, once again.
As according to you, it is so online class is so beneficial, then why the teachers and principals, they are so desperate to reopen the school? And as we are going forward with the online classes, then why the council, ICSC council and ISC council, they have reduces our syllabus? As we are going forward with the online class and the studies are going so well according to you on the online class, then why they have done this?
The council has reduced the syllabus because due to the COVID-19, all the things were been shutted up. As we know that everything was locked, and somewhere that holiday was given, that it was not there, na, that just it has been said that from tomorrow it will be locked down, and from second day every school has provided the studies that yeah, online classes are there. There the school and the council has taken some times that what should they do to proceed our studies. It is not an immediate steps. That's why I think it has, the syllabus has been reduced.
And why the teachers are so desperate to reopen the schools?
Teachers are also being desperated, I know, because we are somewhere, some students are very new to them. They also want that they should meet and to create some interaction between them, that they would understand that how that students are, that are difficult for the new students, not for the old one.
Well, are you done, Anshika?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for your answer. And now with this we come to the end of the rebuttal round 1 and moving ahead with the rebuttal round 2. I would first call upon Trina Dot of Nilgiri House to get some trouble for Fariya of Aravali House. So here you go, Trina.
Yes.
As we know in traditional schooling, all the students used to copy too much of notes instead of understanding it. So my question for you is that instead of understanding, they are just copying the notes. So how they will learn new ideas as their focus is set in direction?
See, copying the things is an another talk. Okay, in traditional classrooms, students are sitting in front of the teachers, and what teachers are saying, maybe they are not concentrating, but they are listening. And by listening and by involving in those things, students learn much more. So I think copying the things is another matter which we are discussing. But if we say that according to my opinion, traditional classroom allows the teachers to interact with each other, and with this they not only learn how to interact with each other, not only they learn how to coordinate with each other, and many new ideas they come to know after going and interacting with other peoples and teachers, going out of the house, and in new areas like in school we meet many different types of peoples and we talk to each other, and we exchange our ideas. So I think traditional class is more better.
Okay, so that was from Fariya. Well answered. Moving on, I would like to
Well,
invite Anshika Hembrom of Shivalik House to fire up her question to Mahima Marandi of Vindhya House.
My question is that if online classes were not there, then how would she study? How she will proceed how would you proceed your studies?
We are pursuing, I would like to put across your question that we are pursuing online classes because that is the only option we have right now. Since it is a COVID-19 time, so we can't go to the schools for education and all. So that is the only option we can do to proceed our studies. But that doesn't mean that online classes are better than traditional classes. If coronavirus would not have been there, then I'm damn sure that everyone would have gone to the school for their education. They would not pursue online education for this. Thank you.
I hope your question is answered, Anshika. So over to you, sir.
well, that is something like seesaw situation here. And to add more to it, I'd like to call up Master Sahil Murmu of Aravali House to question Miss Adiba Samreen of Shivalik House. Over to you, Sahil.
I would like to ask my worthy opponent that with a class comprising 40 to 50 in a traditional schooling, students are getting one-to-one attention. So with not having much interaction, what are views about it?
Can you please repeat the question?
So the question was, with a class comprising of 40 to 50 students, they are getting less one-to-one attention. So how they will interact? What are your views about it?
It is not as as the traditional schooling does, but the student and the teachers interact with each other in front of them, so we get more attention by interaction between the teachers and the student. We're so close to each other, so we get more attention to that, not in online.
I hope that answers to your question, Sahil. If it suffices, then we'd like to move on to the next speaker. And may I invite the last participant from Vindhya House, Yashvi Agarwal, to question Master Neel Dutta of Nilgiri House.
I would like to ask my worthy opponent that the world is moving at an extremely fast pace. Any and every information is readily available at our fingerprints. Then why should an inquisitive student has to wait for the next day to get an answer to his or her queries? Doesn't this lack in problem solving leave him slightly behind?
Neel Dutta, you can
I
answer to
strongly
that.
disagree to this, and I would like to say that in traditional schooling also, if we study in the school and when we go home, we can see we can solve all our problems using social media. We don't need online schooling to solve. In traditional schooling also, we can get all the materials through social media. I would like to say that online schooling is not an answer to this. Traditional schooling will also help. That's right. Thank you.
That brings us to the end of the rebuttal round 2 as well. And further moving ahead with this debate competition, we have got still some more to go with. And we are very fortunate to announce that we have got 2 guest speakers, student guest speakers. One already we have heard, that's Banerjee from Kolkata. And I would like to invite another speaker here on this virtual platform. Before that, I would like to say some few details about him. He is creative, intelligent. He's a musician as well, loves to play lead guitar. He composes his own numbers, outspoken, and a young, energetic gentleman from Oxford Public School, Ranchi, studying in class 11, science stream. I take this opportunity to welcome Master Aryan Evan Thompson. Over to you, Master Aryan. Please proceed with your views.
Respected Principal Sir, dear teachers, and my friends from Madhustali Vidyapeeth, I'm Aryan Thompson from Oxford Public School, Ranchi. It is a great honor for me to be here on this virtual platform along with you all. I thank Principal Sir who has invited me to speak to you on this glaring topic of online education versus traditional education. We have had a great change in our ways and style of learning during this period of lockdown. Somehow, it has been quite an ordeal for our parents and us to figure out which of the 2 topics of education is better. Nowadays, we are at our home, sitting on our comfortable sofa sets, or may even lying down on our soft cushioned beds, while our teachers toil to make us understand different topics. Some of us may even keep our videos off while sipping at a cup of coffee. Well, these are the comforts that we have while studying online. A classroom situation may not be so comfortable, but on the other hand, we get to meet our teachers face to face and clear all doubts that rise within our minds. We should always remember to keep 2 things in our minds, that is, our final grades and the satisfaction that we get while learning. In the online education system, The students make available to the school the assigned work for correction, grading, and comments. Corrected assignments are returned to the students. This may be called a personalized student-teacher relationship. But do we have that satisfaction of asking our teachers the reasons for the comments given on assignments? Well, in a traditional teaching model, students listen to lectures, take notes, and usually resort to rote memorization. In the online system, students have complete control over the lessons, meaning they can learn at their own pace and learning capacity. But at the same time, there are students whose doubts remain unanswered. Some students might feel that the teacher's pace of learning is too fast for them, as it is not possible for a teacher to pay attention to each individual student. But, as in the case of traditional learning, we are free to ask our teachers to please explain again and continue to ask and bother them till we are not fully satisfied. Another advantage of the traditional education is that we students get to interact with each other in and outside of school. My dear friends, remember in March 2020 when we were taking our final examinations of our previous class? Fervently, we would get together after our exam and discuss our answers and may even crack a few jokes. But is this possible in an online system? Is it? With most students being active social media users, the online platform is very interacting and encourages them to like, share, and comment on other students' work. Students can post doubts and queries on the online platform, starting a discussion thread with the teachers and other students. Teachers may prefer to continue this discussion in classrooms. Thus, this platform helps in having in-depth and engaging classrooms discussions. Traditional teaching has been around us for thousands of years. The traditional methods has its own benefits like face-to-face interactions and developing interpersonal skills and group learning, which are essential skills for overall development of a student. My dear friends, whether it is traditional teaching or online teaching, let us not forget that let us not forget the effort of our teachers, which remains the same. The zeal and commitment remain the same. And yes, their effort on this online platform is much greater. At the end, I would like to say that we cannot compare the two forms of education as they both have their advantages. So instead of replacing them, we can merge them together to create a more effective, efficient, and interactive learning experience. Thank you.
That was Aryan Evan Thompson from Ranchi, Oxford Public School. A well balanced, and we have summarized every aspect that will indeed bring in the stability in teaching learning process as well as teacher students relationship. It is indeed a time to retrospect ourselves, which is the need of the hour. I believe that. I take this another opportunity to welcome our young Master Dutta Banerjee once again to speak on the topic, online schooling is better than traditional schooling. Over to you, that's it.
Good morning, everyone. It's me again. This time, I shall be speaking against the given motion. That being, against the topic, online schooling is better than traditional schooling. I do think that online classes have some advantages over traditional schooling, making it the go-to system of education as of right now. However, I do think that those are far outweighed by those caused by traditional schooling. As of the current situation, online classes have become another part of our regular day. Having replaced traditional schooling, some people have started to think than traditional schooling. However, I disagree. Firstly, I would like to point out a particular scenario. Let us consider oneself giving an exam in the midst of a classroom, surrounded by numerous fellow students and being supervised by teachers. And let us compare that to giving an exam online. In the classroom setup we discussed, there is a heat, there is stress, and there is an adrenaline rush, making the exam far more exciting, and it makes our writing abilities enhance a lot, which makes the overall exam experience a lot greater. However, in the case of online classes, we it is a lot more laid back, since all our fellow family members are going about their day-to-day lives, which makes us feel in a comfort zone. And while some people may consider this as a positive, I do not, because as of my experience, this adrenaline rush has been of a lot of use to me. It has helped me give better exams and overall get a better average. Secondly, traditional schooling implies disciplinary methods which may be absent in online classes. For example, in traditional schooling, there are no distractions for the students whatsoever, since they can go on with the teaching and they have no distractions from what is being taught. However, in the case of online classes, there is an absurd amount of distractions, be it text messages, notifications from apps, and whatnot. And the worst part about this is that teachers have no way of identifying what troubles their students are having without asking them properly, out of which they can also lie, which is extremely harmful, and it may result in the taught topic not getting inculcated by the students. Finally, I would like to say that to teaching in a live, real-time environment is far more engaging. My theory about that is that we get to understand and indulge in the entire picture of what is being taught. However, in the case of online classes, we are limited to only what we are shown, and it is quite possible that we don't get to imagine someone else's perspective about that. Thus, with this, I do believe that online classes are not a fit replacement for traditional schooling, and it may be best if it paired up with it. Overall, traditional schooling is foolproof, effective, and overall classic. Thank you.
That was Master Tatsat Banerjee. Thank you so much. I would fully agree with you, Tatsat. Uh, we all firmly believe that everybody is getting excited. They are all beaming with excitement the moment they will get the signal from the government that the school is going to reopen. Everybody is looking forward to join their friends, meeting their teachers, sharing the tiffins, menacing around like that. So these things are awaited, but we have to wait a little bit. As you have mentioned, the limitless of traditional schooling, to what extent the students is going to take on to that limitless schooling under traditional format, that will be determined based on exactly how serious we will be. Definitely. Thank you so much to both the speakers for presenting your part precisely. I would like to request Neha ma'am to take over.
Thank you, sir. The competition hour is over, and as our tabulators are working on the final scores of the competition, in the meanwhile, let us sit back and enjoy some great performances by the budding talents of our primary section of Madhustali Vidyapeeth. So here comes our first performer, Little Master Mohammed Asad Jamal of Class 1, who's gonna recite a poem
Good
in
morning,
English.
everyone. My name is Mohammed Asad Jamal. I am in class 1. My poem name is Life. Life is a game, play it nicely. Life is a race, win it wisely. Life is a drama, perform it happily. Life is given once, live merrily. Thank you everyone.
That was a wonderful recitation. Well done, boy. And moving on with our next performer, we have Akansha Kumari of class 2 to showcase her talent.
Good morning, respected principal sir, teachers, parents, and my dear school friend. This is Akansha Kumari of class 2 is going to recite a poem, and the title of my poem is The Song of the Engine. When you travel on the railway and the line goes up a hill, just listen to the engine as it pulls you with a will. Though it goes so very slowly, it sings this little song. I think I can. So it goes along, but later on the journey, when you going down a hill, a train requires no pulling and the engine singing. Still, if you listen very quietly, you will hear this little song. I thought I could, and so it speeds along. Thank you.
That was a delightful performance, Akansha. Coming up, next performer is Pragun Kumari of class 2 with a recitation in English.
Good morning, respected principal, sir, teachers, parents, and my dear school fellows. This is Pragun Kumari of class 2 is going to recite a poem, and title of the poem is Benny's Lamp. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, as pleased as the snow. And everywhere that Mary went, Mary went, Mary went. Everywhere that Mary went, to love was sure to go. It followed her to school one day, school one day, school one day. It followed her to school one day, which was against the rule. And it made the children laugh and play, laugh and play, laugh and play. It made the children laugh and play to see a lamb at school. And so the teacher turned it out, turned it out, turned it. And so the teacher turned it out, but still it lingered near. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb as a snow. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Wasn't that a splendid performance by Anshika? Very well done. And now, the last but not the least is our next performer, Harshita Chandra of class 2, who would like to share her views with us about social media. So let's hear it from Harshita.
Respected principal, sir, teachers, parents, and my dear school fellows. This is Harshita Chandra of class 2 going to say few lines front of you. Today social media has become a very important part of our life. Social media is a platform where all over the world can connect and interact with each other. It is helpful our academic performance, to develop reading skills, writing skills, learning any things, etc. In this lockdown, it has proved to be the best platform to continue our study with our teachers. So, social media is very, very, very important for our life. Thank you.
That was an outstanding oration, Harshita. With this, we have come to the end of this segment, and now we have the most awaited moment. Yes, it's time for the results, and I would like Sir Rajesh to take over for the rest of the proceedings. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. With the permission of our principal, sir, I would like to, before I declare the result, I'd like to call upon our principal, sir, to share some words, and after that, I can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Rajesh. Before I go on to say something, very few things, I would also like our guest judge, Mrs. Mitra, if she would like to share something with us, say a few words of encouragement for the students. Ma'am, if you're there. Hello. Hello, Mrs. Mitra, are you there?
Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Hello and good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can
Yes,
you?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, you can carry on. We can hear you.
I would like to thank the concerned school authority, principal, Mr. Bitan, for inviting me to attend this inter-house or debate competition, and more so as a judge. I am really honored to be bestowed this judgment. It has been a new and enriching and an experience for me, definitely since we had not such experience or situation in our work life. No doubt, this COVID-19 pandemic lockdown situation has staggered life activities, really made us young and old to combat the situation. Dear loving audience and the students, we are forced to learn new things and also at NGS, but in a new way and new technique or method, classroom teaching and many physical activities which we normally do in school has come to a stop. Has it really come to a stop? No. See how your teachers have guided you to do things like these activities in a new style and new environment. Of course, there's no option except absence of new normal. See, many of you have shed your shyness and fear of the crowd looking at you. You have come forward to perform at your own comfort. Now you are learning to speak well, communicate with confidence. This is one good learning point for you. So be thankful to your teachers for taking all the time to teach you, and be thankful to your parents for doing a great deal to keep you safe and secured at home. And then back your own self, back that to say that I am learning, and my teachers and parents, thank you for enduring all pains, for preparing us to move forward even when things are stagnant. Once again, for spending a nice and lovely time, all of you, lovely budding speakers. Wish all the students do very well in academic career and have a very bright future. And may you grow up to be a good human, which is far more needed. Thank you again to each and every one. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you very much, Sumitra. That was a lovely encouragement for the students. Yes. Mr. Rajesh has given me 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. That means for 2 categories, for and against, 8 minutes plus 8 minutes. 16 minutes he has given me to speak. Anyway. Well, since the time when the internet was created in the year 1960 by Tim Berners-Lee of Switzerland, who introduced the World Wide Web, the total communication system went through a series of evolutionary development And today we are witness to its potential. And all of us who are on the social media are from different parts of the globe, perhaps from places which we may not see during our lifetime. Yes, we are all in the Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and so on. So we can understand the time and distance stand reduced almost to zero. So as I think Gyan Prabha had said, the time is coming when the netizenship may surpass the citizenship to the vast global networking. So the more people to people communication is, the more is the strengthening of the relationships, the bonds growing stronger. But in between, an ominous development of misuse of social media has cropped up. It is like the tree. The stronger, the stronger and deeper are the roots. Stronger and taller will be the tree growing, and wider it will expand. And same for the social media. The great misuse of social media is as strong as its great use, maybe very greater and stronger too. A serious problem is that the spread of misinformation can severely impact the decision-making process because we are closer in the virtual world but far away in the physical world. A dangerous trend is that children today believe more in the popular search engine than anything else. That is why fake news goes viral almost instantly through social media forwards. It also has a cascading effect as a result. Not only the problem is of magnitude, but also it is not being able to find its source also. There have been incidents of online crimes, money laundering, drug rackets, cheating, online fraud gang activities almost every day. You also know many. So we all need to be very cautious every moment while we all use social media. What about online teaching? Yes, most of the people and students are against, but it has become now the order of the situation. Both the teams have spoken about its pros and cons, and I have seen how you try to pull the hair of the opponents fighting out which is the best. Well, that is what debate is. Speaking out confidently your argument with the fullest conviction. But the common thing in between these two options of physical classroom teaching and the school activities and online teaching, that is your teachers. At present, during this COVID period, they are helping you to progress with your learning. You know, now these days, parents at home are bearing all your mischievous pranks, childish nags like this. But know that in the end, all do for they love you and care for you and for your future. Let's not that hope in them for you to go in despair. They do not hope that your future go in despair. We all hope to come back to school soon and go with a traditional way, but, and once again a but. Blended learning of both is the new normal or will be the new normal. Once again, thanks to both Aryan and Tatsat for your presence as a non-competitive participants and cheering the Madhusthalians. Thank you to Mr. Mitra for giving your time and all other judges and teachers. To students and parents always, a special thank you for your earnest support in bringing out the programs successfully. Thank you very much. Now we will ask a request our education officer, Mr. Ambarish, to say a few words before we end up. Mr. Ambarish, you can unmute yourself to speak if you're there.
See, I forgot. Rajesh sir, I hope you can hear me.
Yes,
yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay. So thank you, Principal Sir, and thank you, Rajesh Sir, for inviting me over to speak a few words. First, I really like to congratulate you for choosing such a topic that is so much relevant in this particular environment. I mean, the first topic was like social media is beneficial for students, and the second one was online schooling is better than traditional schooling. Well, you cannot pick a side. I mean, both are important. Like, you have social media at your disposal, but how you use it, where you draw the fine line, I mean, that is all dependent on you. I mean, you cannot do without it at this hour, but a lot of dependency on it will lead to some big incidents. So you have to draw the fine line for yourself. Then again, traditional teaching and online schooling, the new normal says that we cannot do without any one of them. So obviously we need both of them. Like principal said, blended learning is the need of the hour. Like what I feel or what I am missing right now, that interaction among the students have reduced. Why? Because they're not coming to school. They do not see each other. They can only communicate with each other over the phone or through social media, like on WhatsApp or other things. Socializing is missing. They're missing that, that body touch, or like the distance touch. What do you mean? And food for the brain. Human, where do you get it? You obviously get it from your friend. They give you a thought and you kind of think it over and come up with some special idea about it. So all these things are missing. So you cannot pick any side, but how you represent it, how you put your facts is what debate is all about. So I would say the quality of the debate was really nice. I would like to thank all the students for giving me such a good time. The last 2 hours was really well spent. I did learn a lot from it, and hopefully all the students will stay safe at home, and hopefully we'll see you soon, as long as the government tells us to come back, and then we can enjoy the old traditional way, and we can also enjoy the online classes that we're doing right now. Thank you everyone for your time. Thank you.
Well, that was our principal, sir, and our education officer. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And now it's the time before we move out of this online virtual platform, and that the time is for declaration of result. But I have got a request from Tatsat Banerjee. He has requested me that he would like to come forward once again on the screen to present one thing, which is a surprise from your. So over to you, Tatsat, please take over.
So I would like to recite one of my poems written by myself, The Monster Within. A monster resides unknown to us on the dark side of our hearts. Someone who may drive friends away, who can tear relations apart. It is called envy, a curse indeed, a green-eyed creature within, more foul than the murkiest ghoul alive, the deadliest of every sin. It makes one think that the sweeter fruit is the one out of our grip, yet the promised seeds grow rotten and bleed our viceful limbs and lip. But the world's not ours, and we must know that life is a shared deed, and we must reap whatever we sow. So be sure to plant the right seed. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatsat Banerjee. As you sow, so shall we reap. As you mentioned, there is a monster within us. We have got our own conscience, like which speaks to us now and then, whether it be traditional schooling or online schooling. It all depends upon an individual to bring in the stability, whether to what extent he or she is interested in getting himself or herself educated. Coming on to the last part of this segment, we have got declaration of the results here. Many of our participants and housemasters, especially the housemasters and English teachers, they have really put on the relentless efforts onto their participants. It is not the participants who have competed against each other, but the housemasters plays a crucial role behind that.
Mr. Rajesh, just before you go to the results, just one small revelation I would like to make.
Okay.
If you allow me. The first revelation, number one, is Aryan Thompson. You know that he's the son of Mr. Aubrey Thompson, okay, from Ranchi. And it is on our request that we got him to speak over here in this platform. And regarding Tatsat Banerjee, he is the grandson of Mrs. Mitra, who has been the judge today. Okay, so that's the thing. This is a small revelation that I wanted to declare here. So thank you to all of you for your support and for enriching the whole, can say what you say, the congregation, the crowd over here, the virtual crowd today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the keen revelation from your end. Now, without further delay, I would like to move ahead with this result declaration. Category 1. For the motion, we have winner. And for the motion, we have winner. I think like you have already guessed that exactly who's going to be that. And she is none other than Prisha Chatterjee of Shivalik House. Against the motion, we have got the eminent speaker. And she, not he. And she too is from Shivalik House, Miss Pratiba Modi. Category 1, Best Speaker. The best speaker for category, the judges might have had a tough time in coming up along with this kind of conclusion. Best speaker, they have consented to award Miss Prisha Chatterjee of Shivalik House. And moving on to the category 2. Category 2, it's going to be very surprising because owing to the rebuttal round 1 and 2, every individual, all the 8 participants, they got an opportunity to pose questions and to answer as well. And based on that, the judges, they have given their final verdict here. And let me take this opportunity to announce category 2 for the motion. For the motion goes to again Shivalik House, Miss Anshika Hembrom. Second, sorry, not second. Against the motion, category 2 goes to Nilgiri House, and that is backed by Master Neel Dutta of Nilgiri House. And the last we have got in the senior category, category 2, Best Speaker. And she, from feminine gender, she is Miss Fariya Majid of Aravali House. So that was the part which I have to declare from my end, and I will be the one like to sum up before we wind up this debate competition. I just would like to take this opportunity once again to thank. I would like to convey my gratitude to our management for all the time continuously encouraging us and providing the platform for us. I would like to thank a heartiest thanks to Madam Nandita, ma'am, for judging, and all the 6 judges, our respective teachers who came up consenting to be the judges for this competition. Thank you so much for your guidance and help. And
welcome, sir.
Yeah. Yes,
I'm privileged and honored.
We acknowledge that, ma'am. Thank you for your appreciation. And next, we have got the guest speakers. Thank you so much. There's 2 energetic guest speakers. I should say that, like, with the presence of Tatsat Banerjee and Master Aryan Even Thompson, both of you have really added glamour and an excitement to this competition, which we have never had earlier before. And this is the first time that we have, under the guidance of our principal, sir, we have initiated that, like, we would like to invite someone from outside school. And it is the virtual platform that has brought in, or else, like, if we would have been like under the traditional format, then I don't think so that within this short span of time, we would have this opportunity to have the privilege of hearing from Tatsat Banerjee and Aryan Even Thompson. Thank you so much. That credit goes to our principal, sir, for initiating and bringing in Judge Nandita ma'am as well.
Thank you, sir, for having us here. It's an honor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
16 participants, yeah, 16 participants. Yes, you might be wondering that why you have not won. Some of you have won, you're excited. Some of you might be a little bit discouraged about this, but the platform which you are availing here virtually or be it inside the auditorium, the way we participate, and the important thing is that if you are taking part in a competition or any program, the experience which we acquire by being a participant, that too, it counts a lot. And I will be hoping that all the 16 participants, like you will not be losing your hope, and further we will be moving ahead with more programs coming ahead, and we'll be looking forward your mass participation. And I'd like to thank to our respective teachers, all the house in charges, members, all the tabulators, timekeeper. Thank you so much all the time as well, this time as well, like you have come up with your guidance and with your help to aid and make this program a success. I would like to thank the respective students from the different classes. They came in large number, and like they have encouraged your own house participants. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you everyone. Thank you for making this program a success.
Thank you, sir.
Good day.
Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful time.
Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank
lovely
you,
day.
everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rajesh, sir, I see a
Hey, all
mentor
the
in all of them.
teachers.
We should acknowledge every one of them.
I have forgotten to acknowledge my colleague Neha Jain and myself, Mr. Rajesh Sahani,
Right.
co-host
We do acknowledge.
Thomas sir and Suresh sir. Along
you
with the
all.
other coordinators
Yes.
are also there. Every time they are around, even if we take their name or not, these guys are all around, like it's circling and making the program.
Yes, always.
Neha ma'am, you are fantastic. Thank you for being a part of the program. Thank you, Ambarish sir. Thank you, principal sir. We are winding up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Yes.
Rajesh, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Neha. Thank you, Rajesh.
Yes, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Mr.
Thank you, Neha.
Suraj
Neha
and
ma'am.
Soumya, and all the other teachers, activity teacher, Ms. Jayanti Gupta too also. Thank you, Mr.
Yes,
Thompson. Behind the scene, Mr. Thompson had been working a lot also.
Right.
So thank you very much to everybody. Even if I have forgotten to mention the name, please don't take it otherwise. But thanks to everybody once again.
It's bye from here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Have a good
sir.